What's one thing you need to play a video game console? That's right, being single. Actually, what you truly need is a gamepad, a controller, because you can't use a banana on a PlayStation 5 no matter what Sony tries to tell you. But let's face it, we as a generation are broke. We can't afford first-party controllers. Who are we, Jeff Bezos? These controllers can get awfully pricey, almost costing as much as a new game, or even more than a new game if your name is Nintendo. I mean, Sony would never stoop this low. They stoop that low. And sure, I hear ya. You get a first-party controller bundled in with your system. Why is this even a discussion? Well, sure it is on Xbox and PlayStation, but on Nintendo, they gave me two that try to cosplay as an actual controller when putting them in a grip, which is just adorably pathetic. So let's circle back to what I was talking about. Controllers can be fairly pricey, especially for today, with every controller, even the Google Stadia controller, costing $70, but we're not talking Stadia, because nobody is. And I wrote this joke about a year ago because this is a salvage script from May. So if you need a new controller for literally any reason, but you don't have the money for an official controller or just can't get one, what's your solution? Third-party controllers. Now, these tier of controllers get a really bad rap. People act like these controllers are just really bad, cheaply made, offable pieces of shit. Well, I didn't say they weren't. Obviously, there's a ton of brand sketchy controllers trying to rope money out of you, often disguising themselves as an actual legit controller, but you can realize that the PlayStation buttons are mysteriously missing. But third-party controllers get a bad rap. I mean, again, let me remind you, I can't afford the $70 controller, I buy more important things. Nah. But I think if you pay attention enough, there are some actually really good third-party controllers, ones that are officially licensed by the console manufacturer, and by that, I mainly mean Nintendo. I can't really find many PS4 third-party controllers other than this Hori pad made for kids, which sucks. Don't buy that. Don't make a kid play with this controller. It doesn't have the most features you need, and the build quality is just not great. But the only two I could find was this Virtual Fight Pad and Fusion wireless controller from PowerA. But the Fusion just looks like a beefed up DualShock 4. I also found the Razer Reiju, I probably butchered that, and the Nakon Revolution. But as I said earlier, these all look like PS4 controllers, but all caked up. For the PS5, I found nothing, and I don't know if there will be anytime soon. Again, I wrote this in May and there still are none. But let's be real here, these third-party companies probably don't even have a PS5 to test these on. And sadly, that joke has only just been outdated. For Xbox, I mainly found these PowerA ones that look damn near close to the Xbox Series X controller. And these came out way before the Series X was even announced. And honestly, I don't think you're skipping out on much buying these. The Xbox One and Series X controllers are infamous for not having any of the features that the DualSense and Nintendo Switch Pro controller offer. So really, you're only skipping out on quality assurance. But from my experience and what I've heard, I've never really had anything too terrible with these controllers, and if you do, most of them allow you to replace them for free, as long as it has something not on your end. My friend had a Nintendo Switch controller from PowerA, which we'll talk about later, that started drifting, and they replaced it for him and let him keep the old one and told him to dispose of it, which he didn't. Please don't call the cops. The only catch was, he didn't get the same controller back, which is a little bit upsetting, but for the price of these things, I guess you should expect that. But honestly, I'm pretty cool with it, and I'll explain why. The main reason why I love these controllers is not only the price and the quality that's pretty good for that price, but what is mainly seen on Nintendo Switch third-party controllers. The designs of these things, especially PowerA's. Now, sure, on Xbox you get some pretty cool generic themes like camo and the such, but on Nintendo, you get designs based on certain characters represented on Nintendo Switch, which in my opinion, for how cheap these can be, you can think of them as just collectibles or props. Now look, I hear what you're saying. NitPicker, graphics design is my passion, and I find these controllers try way too hard to look sexy. Well, you know what else tries too hard to look sexy? Your mother. But seriously, look how cool these designs are. But nothing is as amazing as Donkey Kong's banana themed controller. But check out these other ones. Mario, Pokemon, Animal Crossing, and much more. But of course the best ones are based off The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I feel like they put the most care into these out of anything, and it's easy to see why. Breath of the Wild is the biggest and most polished game on the Switch, so there's plenty to pull from, and not to mention, they are directed at more older fans, since Zelda is more meant for them. Honestly, a ton of these controllers are just really cool gifts. Even if you know somebody that has a Pro controller, these controllers just look so sick on their own, and for the price, these are amazing pickups for fans of these franchises just to have. I mean, come on, Nintendo isn't gonna make a Yoshi controller, we gotta get one somehow. And I feel like that's what these controllers specifically should be viewed as. Either just cheap Pro controller alternatives or Player 2 controllers. Now, would I recommend you pick these up or the official Pro controllers? No, but if you're a fan of these franchises being represented or just need a cheap controller for an infrequent Player 2, these are cool pickups. But what about if a controller is actually better than the official ones? With the price being the same or just overall being better, I mean, that's impossible. Nintendo, why? This is a rare example of a controller that literally outperforms the main company. Like, look at this controller. Who made this? Aliens? Listen, I'm going to tell you something you never heard before, but consider the GameCube controller to be the best controller for Smash. Now, I don't agree, but for the people that have the option, you could get the original by Nintendo, but you need to get the GameCube controller for $20 and then the adapter for $30, because of course you do. And those, especially the adapter, can be really rare and have the Wii U logo on it. Ugh! But that's where the third parties leap in, and every studio has had to go with slightly different designs. You have PowerA and Hori that go for an exact interpretation of the controller, more so PowerA as they do the exact same colors. You have PDP that has a bit of a wider look and actually changes the emblem based on the design, like the Sonic one I have here. Are you really surprised I bought this? If you want authenticity, the PowerA one for sure is the one you go for, and they even have a wireless option, which is pretty cool. But if you're willing to forgive authenticity a bit, the PDP ones are really good and feel a little bit beefier, which I like, with Hori being the middle child, but they are pretty close to the original. The only problem is that they swapped the placements of the LNR and ZL and ZR, which bug me. But what if you're 16 or just a gamer? Ah, the classics. The controllers made out of clear plastic. The sister to these being the Rock Candy controllers, which I don't think these are around anymore. And the reason being probably every time I see them, I think I could chuck this thing and shatter it. So what's the moral of this video? Third-party controllers aren't actually too bad. With this positivity, I think I'll go and look at some controllers right now and find one to buy. That looks,
The Power Glove for your Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you and the games are one.
Did you know they made a wearable controller for the NES? This is the Power Glove, an incredibly innovative controller from Nintendo.
Come on, go down. Don't go up the steps, go down the steps. Don't go up the steps, go down. Don't go up the steps, go down, you
The Power Glove, it's an interesting experiment in gaming technology. But too bad they were just fucking jerks.